Hello. It's your girl Nadia, owner and CEO of SASSISoul Boutique. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we are talking about new arrivals. We're going to talk about all things new arrivals today. But before we get into the video, I want to make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And make sure to hit the bell so that you are notified on the next video. So again, today's topic is all about new arrivals, how to prepare for new arrivals. You got your new boutique going, you're already set for, you've had your launch day. And so now it's time to start thinking about new arrivals. So today, in no official order, we're just going to talk about how to plan for your new arrivals. And you have to remember that new arrivals is also a launch. And I learned that as I have been a part of this new boutique academy, it is teaching me different aspects of the business. And so we tend to think that because we've already had our launch day and we've already announced our launch of our new online boutique or our storefront or whatever your brick and mortar may be, we have already announced that, so we feel like our launch days are over. But actually, every time you drop a new product, it's a relaunch. So you've got to plan for your new arrivals. And I have learned that lately in my business on how to launch every time I drop new arrivals. So you want to make sure that you have time to launch. And what does that look like? So when I launch new arrivals, I give myself about a week from my photo shoot to the day I launch those new drops to advertise and to pre-launch and to get my customers and my followers excited about what's to come. So say I plan to drop new arrivals on Valentine's Day, which I did last month. So we all know that's February 14th. So around February 7th, I did my photo shoot and I started launching that new arrival. Actually, prior to that, I started talking about it, and we'll talk about why I kind of launched so early. But typically, you want to give yourself about a week to get your customers excited about what's new that's coming. So the first thing you want to do is, once you've done your initial launch of your boutique, you want to kind of think about how often you should drop new arrivals. And you know, I've got my notes here. Do you want to do weekly? Do you want to do bi-weekly? Do you want to do monthly? And basically it is what you can afford, how often you can afford to buy new product. For me, again, as you all know, starting off, my sales were not as great. They weren't as regular. So it was kind of hard for me. And initially I wanted to do weekly, and we'll get into why that didn't work for me. But just staying on these tips here, you want to start trying to decide, how often do I want to drop new arrivals? Then next, you want to start writing down exactly what you want your launch to be like. Your new arrivals. Do you want pants? Do you want skirts? Do you want a mixture of all things? Do you want cardigans? Do you want jackets and pants? You kind of want to start writing down exactly what you want to drop in your new launch. And typically I try to launch things that I couldn't launch in my prior new arrivals. So if I really wanted these pants and I couldn't get them, or I couldn't afford them, or they weren't available, my next launch, I want to try to go up to those again. All right. For me, I like to try to stay within a theme. So with Valentine's Day, I tried to stay in the theme of pieces that people could wear if they were going to go out on a date. So I did not launch prior to Valentine's Day. I launched on Valentine's Day, but I still kind of stayed with that dressy theme. I had surgery prior to Valentine's Day, so that was the closest to when I could, launch, and we'll talk about that. But you kind of want to stay within a theme. So my theme for Valentine's Day was basically a dressy attire. I did mix some other pieces in there, again, because prior to my launch, my Valentine's Day launch this year, I had surgery and I was not cleared to wear heels, to do a lot of standing until about 3 or 4 weeks before Valentine's Day. So that is why I could not launch my pieces so that my customers would have time to order them for Valentine's Day, if that makes sense. You want to decide how many pieces. Like, I try to stay within a number because I don't want to overwhelm myself. And so when I say pieces, you want to think about, do you want to drop some two-piece sets? Do you want some jumpsuits? Do you want shorts? Do you want just pants? Do you want skirts? Do you want jackets? Do you want things that are versatile? You kind of want to try to get an idea of what you want your launch to look like. So if I'm going to get a pair of jeans, I essentially want to get a top that goes with those jeans. pretty much the top that I'm going to advertise in my photos, because that is a visual for your customer. They're like, okay, I want my outfit to look just like that. So you want to kind of prepare like, okay, if I get the green jeans, what top am I going to get? Am I going to get a top that they can wear with that and also wear with the skirt? Or, you know, kind of launch your items around things that you already have. There may be some things that did not go so well in your first launch, so you kind of want to bring those pieces back out with something new. So you want to give it like a new visual. You want to redress it up, show your customers how else they can put that piece together. You also want to try to drop around special occasions, as I said, Valentine's Day. Like my next launch for this month is going to be spring. I'm going to launch my spring drop on spring, the day that spring is on the calendar, right? And so my theme is actually going to be spring. It's going to be bright colors. It's going to be pastel colors. I'm going to pull out some pieces that did not sell in my last launch or from a couple months ago, and I'm going to try to revisit those and put them into these spring looks, just so that we can give them a new idea of what they're looking for. Right? And so those are the tips, again, some things that you want to look for your new launch. And so I want to get into what I learned about new arrivals. So I learned that every week was not for me. I wanted to launch every week so bad. Some of the other boutiques that I follow, they were dropping stuff like every week, and even every 2 weeks. I was like, okay, maybe I'll go to every 2 weeks. But again, my sales were not coming in as fast. So it was really, really hard for me to keep up with an every week or an every 2 week drop. Now, I could have done something like every week drop one new piece, but I like to drop at least 5 different pieces. And that can be a jumpsuit, a dress, it can be all dresses, it can be all denim. And then I also, again, want to pull from launches of pieces that didn't really sell very well and pull those into my new launch. So I actually decided overall that once a month was good enough for me. And I had help figuring that out, because I was essentially taught that your new arrivals are for your current customers. They want to see what's new because they've already been through your website. They've already purchased what they like from what you've already had. They're ready for something new. Your new customers don't necessarily need new arrivals because they haven't seen what you already have. So your new arrivals are to tease, are to please your current customers, and so you don't really have to overdo it. Too many pieces are overwhelming. I learned that, especially in my last launch, which I had to do it this way because I hadn't launched in 3 months. I had surgery prior to Thanksgiving, so for Christmas, the New Year, and for February, I was not cleared to wear heels or do a lot of walking because I had surgery on my knee. So my launch for February was ridiculous. I had so many pieces that I wanted to launch prior to my surgery that didn't come until after my surgery. It was like wintry mixed. It wasn't bad, but it was just a lot of pieces. So my photo shoot was about 6 hours long because I had so many pieces that I wanted to get out and in front of my customers and my new customers. So I tried to stay within about 5 to 7 looks per launch of new arrivals. I don't want to overwhelm myself during my photo shoot. I don't want to overwhelm my customers with just too many options. I want to stay within a theme and I want to make it make sense. So when I launch my spring launch in a couple weeks, I'm going to make sure to have pretty much all things that are spring that make sense for the spring. And you have to remember, what you can't launch this month, you can launch next month. And with spring, you can mix your summer looks with it. So it really is helpful to just kind of stay around a special holiday or timing, whether it's Mother's Day, whether it's Valentine's Day, whether it's anniversary time for your store, your birthday. You just want to kind of stay within a theme and stick with a time frame that is easy for you to handle, both financially and physically. I want to begin dropping, like I already mentioned, I want to begin dropping theme-wise. So if I'm going to do a drop, I want to do like all denim, or I want to do all white. I want to start with that sprinkle out this year, just with a few of my launches that kind of give a meaning to the drop. So it can get kind of mundane to every drop to drop some pants and some shorts and some skirts and some tops. So this year I want to kind of pivot a little bit and just start doing some theme drops. Like I do plan to do an all white drop. Last year, I really wanted to get into formal wear. I just could not find the means to do it. So this year, I had some time to kind of play around with some things and kind of get to some other aspects of clothing that I want to put into my boutique. So I'm going to try to sprinkle in some themes there. Like I said, it's going to be like an all denim or an all white or a formal wear drop, just so that I can kind of put myself out there a little bit more, do something different than I did last year. Pretty much at the end of the day, your new arrivals should be based around what you can afford and how often you can drop. What your photo shoots look like. If you are doing your own DIY photo shoots, I find it very, very hard to do a DIY photo shoot every week. I would find it hard to do a professional photo shoot every week. So you really want to take the time to say, okay, do I really have the time and space to do a Photoshop every week? Do I really have the money and means to do a new drop every week? Don't get yourself overwhelmed. Even if you can't do every month, if it's every other month, if it's every quarter, make it make sense for you. I don't want any of us to feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta keep up with these big name boutiques and I gotta drop new stuff every week like Fashion Nova or Shein. Gone are the days where we're trying to keep up with other people. We want to be able to do things within our own means, within our own physicality, so that we are not overwhelming and overburdening ourselves. I would just say, when you do your launch, when you do your photo shoot, make enough videos and pictures to be able to get your post out throughout the month until your next launch. So I had to learn that when I went from weekly, from bi-weekly to monthly drops, I had to make sure that I had enough, what's the word I'm trying to use? Enough content so that I could post on a weekly, daily basis, so that it's not all the same, right? When I do my new arrivals, I will do pictures of the piece and I will also do videos of the piece. And not necessarily videos to any particular music or any particular sound. I just take my photos, I do a video so that I can use whatever is trending, whatever is out there, whatever will be used to get my video seen. And I do that enough so that I can have plenty of content for the month. Of course, you're going to use other content, but if you want to use content from the things that you are dropping or things that are now available, you want to make sure that you take enough photos. You want to make sure that you take enough videos so that you can have a plethora of content. And when I say photos, I mean about 10 good photos of your one ensemble that you can show off in several different videos, whether it's facing forward, whether it's facing sideward, walking this way, walking that way, moving, dancing. You want to just get a lot of variables so that you can have enough. And that's if you're going to do monthly or bi-weekly. If you are someone that's going to do weekly drops, you don't have to do as much and you don't have to spend as much time in front of the camera. So it's totally up to you. We don't owe anyone any format that is not comfortable for us. Do what you can. Don't overdo it. Don't overstress yourself out. And just make sure that it's comfortable for you. And the one thing I like about new arrivals is I like to make my photos fun. Like I dance in my videos, I act silly, I make comments, I take breaks. I'm learning about some other angles that I want to do with my photos. So just make it fun. Make it exciting. Do some highs and some lows. Sit on the floor, lay on the floor. I'm going to try all that with this next launch. So I want you to get excited about what's to come. Remember, the new arrivals is just a new addition to your boutique. Give yourself some time to advertise, to launch, to say, hey, this is what's coming. Get excited about these new jeans, this new look that's coming. You want to get your customers excited about what's to come. Make sure you're talking about it. Make sure you're amping it up. Make sure you make people feel like they need to buy this item, because I don't want to come to your page and you're like, it's okay. I mean, yeah. Or don't give me that look either. Give me the look that says, hey, this piece is popping. You want this in your wardrobe, so on and so forth. So again, I hope that this video has helped someone. I hope that there is something that has been said that will give you that niche, or that will give you that education that you needed. As always, I want you to remember to stay sassy, stay classy, and stay confident. Until the next video. Bye.